successful for what it was. I mean, if it's like not community outreach, but kind of a gathering, so that there's
It was really special.
conversation.
Yeah. No, it was great.
Are you ready to start?
Yeah, we are. Fine.
Barry?
Let's open with Yadid.
No, it's not you. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Those of you who are just joining us via live stream, we've been having all kinds of fun conversations about Thanksgiving and everybody's traditions and experiences. Ken Zark and I were so pleased to be with many members of our community this past Tuesday as we celebrated the 72nd annual Interfaith Abington Ministerium Interfaith Thanksgiving service. And for the first year, we celebrated it at a mosque. Our neighbors at the Islamic Cultural Center of Willow Grove were our very gracious hosts. It was a lovely evening. And just a reminder that we do this every year. It is it's the longest standing such interfaith service, certainly in the Philadelphia area. Really remarkable that we've been doing it year after year for so many years. And we have made it a truly much more interfaith experience over the last couple of years. And if you did not get a chance to join us, we do encourage you to please put it on your calendar for next year for the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. Giving thanks, though, is not something that is just done any one day of the year. It's something we do every day as Jews, and especially we give thanks for this day of Shabbat as we begin with song.
Yes, page 10, Yadid Nefesh. Yadid Nefesh Rahman, Yadid Nefesh Rahman, Yashach Avdecha, El Ratzonecha, Yashach Avdecha, Yalalalala, El Mulchadarecha, Yarut Avdecha, Kamoyal, Yishtach Avelalala, Yalalalala, El Mulchadarecha, Yarut Avdecha, Kamoyal, Yishtach Avelalala, Yalalalala, El Mulchadarecha.
We welcome the Shabbat. We welcome this time of sacredness that invites us to be rather than to make, to dwell rather than to do. And we welcome her with the lighting of Shabbat candles on page 2 and page 3. It's our pleasure to invite forward Richard Wright and Ellen Levin. If you're able, I invite you to rise.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Asher Kilshanu Babi Shabbat.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the lights of Shabbat.
Amen.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. You may be seated. We're going to continue welcoming Shabbat with the singing of Lecha Dodi, page 20.
Lecha Dodi לקראת קלה, בני שבת יקבלו. Lecha Dodi לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבלה. שמור וזכור בדיבור אחד, ישביענו אל עם יאחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, לשם ולתפארת ולתהילה. Lecha Dodi לקראת קלה, בני שבת יקבלו. Lecha Dodi לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי אם בקור כברכה, מראש מכם תמנסוכה. סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. Lecha Dodi לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבלה. Lecha Dodi לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי בחורי קומי אורי, 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 שיר דברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. Lecha Dodi לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבלה. Lecha Dodi לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבלה. בואי בשלום, עטרת בלום, בשמחה ובצוק עולם, תוך אמוני חמסנו לה. בואי חלום, בואי חלום. Lecha Dodi לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבלה. Lecha Dodi לקראת קלה, בני שבת נקבלה.
You may be seated as we continue with Shalom Aleichem, page 24.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi-melech Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruch Hu l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi-melech Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, יתגדל ויתקדש ברבו.
Amen.
בעלמות יברקרותי וימליך מלכותי, ויכון וחנוך את כל בית ישראל. בגלה ובזמן קריב, ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבא מבורך, לעולם ולעולם בגלמיה. יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי קדשו בריחו. להגיל מן כל ברכתיו ושירתו, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן בעלמה. ויאמרו אמן. ברכו את אדוני המבורך, ברך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
We join together. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chochma poteach sha'arim, uvitvuna mishanei itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umesader et hakochavim, b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono, borei yom valayla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uvein laila, Adonai tzavaot shemo, El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. We read responsively. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol. All these things your Torah gives to us. And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than this holiest of your works and the living language that gives it form? Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, וחיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושמנתם לבדיך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לראות על ידיך, וחיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי ואתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe what we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot. That wherever we go, it is eternally Egypt. That there is a better place, a promised land. That the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness. That there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands, marching together.
We continue with Veshamro on page 44. Veshamro b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל, בני ישראל אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני, עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, rebuild a weakened will.
Adonai sefata tiftach, afi agita hilatecha.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוקינו אלוקי אבותינו ואמותינו אלוקי אברהם אלוקי יצחק ואלוקי יעקב אלוקי שרה אלוקי רבקה אלוקי רחל ואלוקי לאה אלך הגדול הגיבור וחדור אלוהינו גם מלך חסדים טובים וקונה הכל וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות ומביא גאולה לבני בניכם למען שמו בכפו מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם בצרה צרה אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחייך כל אתה רב להושיע משך הרוח מורידך כשם מחלקי החיים בחסד בחייך כל ברוחמים רבים צומח נופלים ורופאי חומרים ומתיר אסורים ומקיים אמונתו ישענה יפר מחמוך בעל גבורות ובתואם מלוך מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישוע ונאמן הצדק החיות הכל ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש וקדושים בכל יום יחללוך הסלח ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We continue silently through page 63.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל
We turn from our prayers of peace for the whole world, peace in the heavens up above and here on the earth below, to the prayers for healing and wholeness, shalom within our souls and our bodies. Mishaberach avotenu v'imotenu Avraham, Yitzchak v'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel v'Leah, hu yivarech et hacholim. May the one who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebekah, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal all those in our community who are ill: Andy Dorfman, Sandy Chernow, David Lieberman, Brian Geiger, Gershona Binyamina Batsara Valevi, Sheila Evans, Cynthia Baylor, Sharon Weiss, Judy Weiss, Stan Oliver, Mark Reingold, Tricia Silvesi, Mike Judah Avitan, Yahudit Chanya Bat Itkalea, Eileen Green, Phyllis Goralnik, Larry Mance, Eric Stroll, Bev Tisdale, Shimshon ben Lebachaya, Rebitzer David Rachmiel ben Sarah Valevi. And I invite you to add any names to this list this evening. Yes, please. With hope for healing in our hearts, we join together in the Mishaberach, page 253.
Source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Be generous, bless us in need of healing with refuah shlema, that in your love body, that in your love spirit, and let us say, Amen.
May the Holy One of Blessings send us swiftly a renewal of body and spirit. And let us say,
Amen.
so we are deep in the thick of the first Jewish families and their story in the book of Genesis. So in our Parsha this week, we have a very vivid and heart-wrenching scene in which we see how favoritism of children, as well as maybe not always being as honest as one might be, play a role in some of the story of where we've come from. So specifically, I wanted to ask you if you could just dig deep down in your memory. What can you tell me about Rebekah and Jacob and and Isaac and Esau? What are the things that we know about those two particular relationships? Well, who are Isaac and Rebekah? I can't hear you. What? They're married, right? They're married. And which generation of the Jewish people are we in? Is it the first? It's the second. Okay, it's the second generation. And then they have children. Who are the children that they have? Thank you, Esau and Jacob. Now, like every good, healthy family, Rebekah loves Esau and Jacob equally, and Isaac loves Esau and Jacob equally. Is that the Torah that you read in your life? No. So that's not what happens, right? So each of them has a favorite. This is something that we have intimations of in the previous generation, and then will certainly play itself out in the life of Jacob and his children, especially with Joseph and Benjamin and his other children. We know that the boys were very different. What do you remember about Esau versus Jacob in terms of their character, or just what they were like, what they looked like, what the things they liked to do? Oh, you're getting right to a specific story. So, but the story of the porridge, of the lentil soup, is actually a story that points to something that the rabbis used to identify Esau's character. And that is that he was a man of the woods, of the forest, of the field. He was a physical person. And he was happiest when he was outside hunting. What was Jacob like? No. Well, he was a dreamer. He was a dreamer, but he wasn't the last dreamer. Yes. So Jacob was a dreamer, but what else do we know about him? I mean, him as a dreamer, a person dwelling in his head, that is not a new thing. We don't discover that the first time he has a dream. We already know that about him. He stays in the tent. He likes to stay near his mom. He's much more of a mild man, according to the tradition. And so I'll read to you from the text. It says, Vayigdalu hana'arim vayehi Esav ish yed'a tzayid ish sadeh. The boys grew up, and Esav became a man who knew how to hunt, a man of the field. Yaakov tam yoshev ohalim. And Yaakov was a calm man, dwelling in tents. Vaye'ahav Yitzchak et Esav, and Yitzchak loved Esav, ki tzayid befiv, for there was game in his mouth. The kind you eat, not the kind you play. Verivka ohevet et Yaakov, and Rivka loved Jacob. So this is problematic for us. But I thought it was an interesting moment for us to reflect upon this weekend of Thanksgiving. Because, of course, Thanksgiving is an opportunity when many of us find ourselves in the presence of family that we don't always find ourselves with. And sometimes there are dynamics that pop up from the ancient past or disagreements around age-old conflicts. There are sometimes jealousies and fears and feelings that come up that have to do with our earliest years and our deepest seated sense of ourselves and our relationships. And, you know, I always think of Rebecca and Isaac as subject to criticism in this section. And certainly there is much to recommend not picking favorites, or certainly not letting anybody know who's your favorite at any given moment. And actually, one of the problems in the text is that it's not just that Jacob is the favorite, but that Esau sees that. So there's a very interesting interpretation of this scene that I think puts Isaac in a much kinder and more thoughtful perspective. And that is, this is a good example of how Isaac is a lover, someone who is very good at loving. And that's weird, right? When we think of the great romances in Genesis, we don't usually think of Isaac. But I'm going to read you a section from Dina Weiss. She's a wonderful scholar, and she points out that the description of Rivka's love is uncomplicated. There is no reason or qualifier given for her love, and it is stated in the present tense. I didn't quote it to you in the present tense, but it is actually in the present tense. Rivka simply loves Yaakov. This love is natural and unconstructed. So we're talking about unconditional love, the kind that you normally expect. Oh, the child is born, they're adorable, the parent loves them, and there's no complications that ever come to anybody from that moment, right? But the form of Yitzchak's love is vaye'ehav. So it's slightly more emphatic, like it's almost like it's not, it is conditional, or it requires more effort somehow. It indicates that he loved his son as an active act. He had to proactively love him. And he didn't just normally or as a matter of course inhabit his sense of loving of Esau. Recognizing this opens up the possibility, says Weiss, of reinterpreting the phrase, "for there was game in his mouth." So the text says, "Ki," meaning for, there was game in his mouth. And usually when I've read this, I've thought, okay, well, he likes to eat meat, so that's why he likes Esau, because Esau provides him with the meat, and they kind of like talk about, this is a good cut of meat, and we like meat, and go meat, and let's have a barbecue. This is how they connect. But the word ki could also mean not because he has game in his mouth, but when. So Isaac loved Esau when he had game in his mouth, almost despite the fact that he was somebody who was into hunting, who was into all kinds of things that the family wasn't valuing as helpful for the firstborn of Abraham's line to propagate in terms of values. Even so, Isaac loved him. So much the more so when he shows up covered in grime or having just killed an animal, his father looks at him and says, "Wow, that's not what I envisioned, but I love you so." So Yitzchak's strength, Isaac's strength, is tied to this sense of loving. And it's helpful for us to think about this kind of loving at this season. Sometimes when we're in a situation with a quote loved one. And I say quotes because we refer to all family in that way, right? But love is a strange thing, and it's a malleable thing, and it changes through time. So when we're with loved ones, sometimes we just feel love rising within us. Sometimes it's just there. It's part of our being. Sometimes it takes some effort. It takes some energy. But Isaac is an example of how that energy can be our strength. It can show the core of our character. And indeed, it actually can open us up to accepting all kinds of ways of being that may be necessary for members of our community to live their full and best lives. So I hope that you find love in this season. I hope that you're able to feel love, not just given to you, but that you're able to find the strength within you to love those around you with everything that you have. Shabbat Shalom. So this is the final final Shabbat of the month. We already did an anniversary lessons? Who had an anniversary? You did? Oh, Mazel Tov. Great. Anybody else had an anniversary? All right, excellent. Well, I am sorry to have missed it. I hope everybody had a happy anniversary. We're going to continue with our service by turning to Aleinu, page 282, as we rise. And I'd like to invite Linda and Lou to open the ark. You're so good at it. We're on page 282. This week, as we prepare for Mourner's Kaddish, I'm mindful of the many tragedies that have befallen our world only in this last week. Too much death, unnecessary death, too much shooting, too much hatred. Tonight, I'd like to offer a poem. I apologize that I do not have the author's name with me. Yit gadal v'yit kadash shemei rabbah. Life is a volley of bullets. Be'alma divrach chirtei v'yamlich malchutei. Time is a bleeding wound. B'chayachon u'vyomechon u'v'chayei duchol Beit Yisrael. In houses of worship, schools, shopping malls, clubs. Bi'agala u'vizman kariv. It seems that no one is safe. V'imru. Amen. God, these words tumble from my tongue. Yehei shmei rabbah mivarach le'olam olam le'el maya. Marbles in a bowl overturned. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. I don't want to praise. I v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesha. Just want it to stop. Words, bullets, headlines. Faster and faster they run. Brichu. And I am out of breath. La'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. God, I am voting, marching, organizing. Tushbechata v'nechemata. I don't know if anyone is listening. But God, damiran be'alma, we are a chance worth taking. V'imru, amen. Time, blood, thoughts, and prayers, Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, are never enough. But I can't seem to stop praying v'chayim aleinu v'el kol Yisrael, even though I'm not sure. V'imru, amen. You are listening. Oseh shalom imromav. May the one who makes peace in heaven, hu ya'aseh shalom, make peace aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, over us and over all Israel, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, and for all who dwell on earth. We are a chance worth taking. V'imru. Amen. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, those we have drawn into our hearts with our own, the martyrs of our people and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. We remember them now, along with the recently departed, those in our Beth Am community whose families are still in the Shloshim period. Michelle Amy Bressler and Marjorie Lubinsky. And we add to their names the names of those whose yahrzeits occur this week. Orville Adler, Anna Altschuler, Richard H. Bacali, Kalman Balsham, Leah Battleman, Sonia Becker, Bernard D. Bellamau, Benjamin Berman, Charlotte Bogus, Lori Brown, Lillian Cohen, Samuel Cohn, Albert Cooperman, Harry Davis, Andrew C. Davis Jr., Isaac Ted Dorman, Sarah Ellman, Albert Fetterman, Eric Fishman, William Friedman, Lillian Geboff, Edie Glassman, Barnett Goldman, Charles Goldman, Sidney Goldstein, Sonny Goldstein, Rose Gorman, Arthur H. Havsey, Harry Hessler, Isidore Hollander, Anne Jacoby, Tilly Klaskin, Adrian Klein, Honey Kramer, Mary Kushner, Steve Laver, Nat Lefton, Samuel Levin, Frida Lipschutz, Anna Madnikoff, Ivan Mance, Stanley Morantz, Joe Nyman, Faye Oakley, Solomon Pallat, Clara Polikoff, Samuel Pomerantz, Charles Ritter, Gerald Robinson, Nathan Rumberg, Betty Rosen, Shirley Rothberg, Rosalie Schaefer, Celia Shapiro, Harry Schatz, Susan Speen, Bernard Shuram, Isidore Silberstein, Jack Silvertown, Virginia Simons, Marie B. Stein, Rose Stillman, Frank Strick, David Surrey, Lillian Wax, Eva G. Weinberg, Sidney Weitzman. I invite you to add any names to this list, the names of anyone for whom you're saying Kaddish tonight. Zichronam livracha. May their memories be an abiding blessing as we rise together and join in the Mourner's Kaddish, page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, v'yalma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam u'la'almei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shmei kudisha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran b'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'el kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'el kol Yisrael v'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all Israel and all the world, and comfort to all who are bereaved, as together we say,
Amen.
Amen. You may be seated. It's my pleasure to call forward our Vice President of Religious Practices, Barry Tinkelman, to offer some greetings and announcements.
Shabbat Shalom. So I hope everybody had a nice, relaxing and filling and fulfilling Thanksgiving holiday, and that you have much to be thankful for. And I hope that if you went shopping today on Black Friday, that you filled all of your Hanukkah gift list. Tomorrow's Torah study and Shabbat morning service will be on Zoom only. Don't come here to the synagogue because nobody will be here to let you in. Torah study will be led by Steve Laffner, and Evelyn Fair will be chanting the Torah portion. The Zoom meeting information can be found in today's email blast. Both of them. Rabbi Lieb's Pirkei Avot class meets Sunday at 11 on Zoom. The text for the class is linked in today's email. Next Friday night is Birthday Shabbat. If you were born in December, be sure to attend and be honored for another trip around the sun. It's also a family Shabbat. Services start at 6 p.m. and will be followed with the annual Bafti dinner in the auditorium at 7. Reservations are required for dinner, but not for services. The Red Cross Blood Drive returns to Betham on Thursday, December 8th from 2 to 6:30 p.m. Reserve your donation time by contacting Art Davis or using the Blood Donor app. Join Rabbi Tornberg on Zoom for an in-depth text exploration of how Jews have seen the land, and ideas of Israel throughout our historical narratives. You'll look at pages from the photo album from as far back as Torah up through the Middle Ages. An Israel photo album, Pictures Throughout History, meets Thursdays, December 1, 8, and 15 at 7 p.m. on Zoom. You can register with the link in Wednesday's email or by going directly to Shul Cloud, click on the calendar, go to December 1, and you'll find the registration link there. Finally, just a reminder that the office is extremely short-staffed at this time. If you get voicemail when you call, please leave a message, and your call will be answered as soon as possible. And please, and I know this doesn't apply to anybody here or on the live stream, but I have to say it, please, when you do speak to one of our office staff or a volunteer helping out, be nice. They all work very hard to serve all of us, and they make this place go. Good Shabbos, and be excellent to each other.
We're going to, thank you, Barry. We're going to conclude our service with song, like we
Yes.
do. And then we're going to have Kiddush and Motzi in the lobby. Apologies for the lack of braidedness of the bread out there. There is only so many things left in the store.
Okay, so we'll conclude with Adon Olam, page 321.
אדון עולם אשר מלך בטרם כל יציר נברא לעת נעשה וחפצו כל עשוי מלך שמו נקרא עשוי מלך שמו נקרא כי אחרי ככלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא אחד ואין שני לחם שלו לחמירה בלי ראשית בלי תכלית בלוח עמוס לחמשרה בלוח עמוס לחמשרה וכהלי וחליב צור חבלי בית צרה וכוניסי ומנסלי בנות כוסי ביום נקרא בנות כוסי ביום נקרא בידו אפקיד רוחי בעת אישה בעירה וימרחי אבייתי אדוני לי ולא יירא אדוני
May you find many reasons to feel and be present in gratitude this Shabbat and in the days that follow. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.